Hello, this is Francisco Pulgar-Vidal with fkiQuality, and today I would like to talk about the concept of waste. Waste is every type of activity that a person or even a machine, an organization in general, engages in which does not create anything valuable or useful. The body of knowledge of Lean is very much attuned to the notion of waste, and it has classified waste in 8 categories in order to help us understand in how many different ways waste may creep into our daily activities. There are different types of acronyms used for these ones. Some people call it downtime. The one that I'm going to present in here is called T.I.M.W.O.O.D.S, and I'm going to describe next what each one of the letters mean. So, beginning with the T, the T stands for transportation. This is the first of the 8 wastes of Lean. Then you will have the waste of inventory, then the waste of motion, then you have the waste of waiting, and then the first of the O's, which is overproduction, and then overprocessing. Finishing with the creation of defects and the waste of human skill. Clearly, none of this is desirable. And yet these are all the various things that may get in the way of higher productivity, higher morale, customer satisfaction, additional cost is incurred when you have all these wastes, and also maybe risks in production that may not have been anticipated. Now, this is the traditional way of looking at waste. What I would like to do, however, is to focus on how these are interconnected, beginning with the first one, which is that of overproduction. And I said the first one because from a Lean point of view, this is the most damaging of all of the wastes. One of the reasons why this is so is because it is completely opposed to one of the principles of Lean, which is the principle of just in time, and that is the production of goods. And by goods, I mean physical goods, but it could also be documents, it could also be software objects, it could also be the treatment of a patient, anything that is desirable by an external customer. This we can just call goods, but the idea of just in time is the production of these goods in the most efficient way. And some of the aspects of this efficiency is that you will not make more of those goods that are necessary at a certain point in time, and this is given. This necessity, timely necessity, is defined by the customer, which if it is an internal customer is the next operation downstream, and if it is an external customer is that one which actually is paying for the goods themselves. So what I like to do is, instead of looking at this in this rather simplistic way, let's look at how they are connected, and what I'm going to draw next is a network that will start with overproduction, and then it will tell us all the various, how this one produces all the other ones. So now we're going to begin looking at the 8 wastes of Lean, starting with the most important one, because it's the most damaging one, and that is the waste of overproduction. So we have this waste over here, which uses the assets of the company, such as financial assets, capital assets, time, personnel, etc., in order to make things which are not necessary, not needed at this point in time. If one starts making things which are not needed at this point in time, they immediately become really things that get in the way, and so they become inventory. So, inventory is the immediate consequence of overproduction. And we're talking in particular what you may call excessive inventory. There may also always be the need for some amount of inventory in order to attend an immediate need, an urgent purchase, or just to have some safety stocks for a number of reasons. This is beyond what we're talking, what that would represent. So this is excessive inventory. Now when something is, like I was saying before, laying around and it just gets in the way of work, gets in the way of the workflow, it has to be moved somewhere. And so this leads to the next waste, which is the waste of transportation. And here again, we're talking about not the transportation that adds some value, but the one that is truly unnecessary. Now, as it happens, when goods are in inventory, or when they are transported from one place to another one, they may go bad, they may spoil, they may become obsolete, they may degrade. This applies to physical goods, but even to things such as images, such as the compression of an image when it is moved from one standard to another one. So this is a very general concept. What I'm talking about here is the creation of defects or defective products that were never intended, but they are the direct consequence from these two types of waste. And so once you have defects, you will want still to try to recover from that situation, but in order to recover from that situation, the only choice that you have really is to rework that part, to make it again. And so that rework is what, using the language of Lean, we call overprocessing. It follows naturally that if you are working on something a second time and you're spending additional amount of resources and in particular time on this object, or if something is not ready to be used at the point of use because it is somewhere else, it's stored somewhere else, then you need to incur another transportation in order to bring it to where it is needed. Then that transportation that was unnecessary and that overprocessing, which is necessary because of the defects that have already occurred, results in the next waste, which is that of waiting. And so you may also think that if there is excessive inventory and things need to be picked up and moved, or documents must be clicked away and stored, etc., this will generate that other waste of Lean that we call the waste of motion, which is the unnecessary movement of the person or equipment. As you see, we here again we're back to the original 7 wastes of Lean. So you have transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, and defects. And when you think about all of these ones, this is going to result in the 8 wastes of Lean that doesn't come directly from any one of these, but generally from all of them. And that is the misuse or the waste of human skill. And so we're back to having the complete picture of T.I.M.W.O.O.D.S, but in this case I think that it's helpful to see them in this way because it allows us to see how one generates the other one and so on and so forth. After all, this should not be a completely strange concept because all we're looking at here is the same reality only from multiple angles. We will see in another video how is it that overproduction starts to begin with and which may be the reasons behind this. Thank you for your time.